everybody. We didn't really get to the point about how much people on Capitol Hill had like received from Facebook, but I noticed that it's they got $641,000 from Facebook, but the Kochs donated like $900 million in 2016 to people's campaign. So I think it offsets, and there was no like proof. I promised to tell you about it, so this is me telling you about it. There's no proof that it really affected how hard people grilled Zuckerberg. Anyway, we're moving on to our next story, which is Mariah Carey. So Mariah Carey is opening up to People magazine about her struggles with bipolar disorder. She shared a lot of personal details, saying she was diagnosed in 2001 of bipolar disorder 2, which is one version of bipolar disorder. It involves manic episodes, depression. She was hospitalized after the divorce that she had from Tommy Mottola, the record magnate. And she gave this quote: "Until recently, I lived in denial and isolation and in constant fear someone would expose me. It was too heavy a burden to carry, and I simply couldn't do that anymore. I sought and received treatment. I put positive people around me, and I got back to doing what I love, writing songs and making music." You can't see it right now, but Jason is doing double fist pumps. Thoughts, 5 words or less.
Mental health, Carey, is important.
We're all human.
The real emancipation of Mimi.
Ooh.
I blame Nick Cannon.
Hey.
Because I can. Why? Oh, why does everyone love Nick Cannon?
I don't.
Wait,
He's
I was gonna say, where did you guys? Are you guys backing Nick Cannon?
Yeah. Look.
Why would
Listen,
you back
I'm just
him?
gonna
He's
take
evil.
Jason's lead on everything in this story.
Yeah.
So Jason said, hey, so I'm just gonna be like, hey.
Yeah, what do you think of, you didn't know. Jason, you know a lot about Mariah Carey.
The top Mariah Carey fan.
I'm a terrible lamb, but as we were talking about off camera, it makes sense now. Mariah Carey, through 1990 to 2003, Mariah Carey had either an album, gave us new music, or was charting every single year for 13 years. This is a hardworking woman. And in 2001, when she had that really weird TRL episode, it was passed off as she was exhausted, which makes sense. She worked really hard. But if you want to talk about what bipolar 2 disorder is, it's hypomania. It's not really mania. So hypomania is like a less severe version. There's no psychosis. There's no detachment from reality.
Right.
And a lot of people that have bipolar 2 disorder are functioning adults.
Yeah.
They work hard. They have not as extreme highs and lows. Mariah Carey's always gone on record saying that she is a night person. She doesn't like to sleep. That's another symptom of being bipolar, is sleep irregularities. I'm glad she came forward because look, she was diagnosed in 2001, you guys. That was almost 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And to have that, she said that she told people to have that burden to carry around. I mean, people judged out of Mariah Carey.
Yeah.
So compound that with this stigmatized mental disorder, that's gotta be just
Think
terrible.
about how stigmatized it was in 2001 when she received her diagnosis. I think fortunately we've made great strides when it comes to our just sort of acceptance, knowledge, and education on mental health. I think immediately of Demi Lovato, who's been so open about her own struggles with mental health, and different artists within the same field as Mariah Carey who sort of paved the way of saying like, yes, you can acknowledge this, you can be a beacon of hope for people going through this as well, and you can still have a career. And it must have been incredibly lonely for Mariah Carey to be diagnosed and not really know that many people at her echelon that were open about going through some really hard things.
There aren't many people at her echelon. She had 18 #1 hits and sold more than 200 million records.
Preach, Brett.
Which is crazy. But the question is, like, I had absolutely judged Mariah Carey in the same way I just joked about Nick Cannon. Like, I felt it was okay because they're celebrities, and when they have like, and she is literally a diva.
Yeah.
Like by the definition of what a diva actually is. Like when people are speaking metaphorically about folks that think they're larger than life, she is literally that. Yeah. She is up there with like Aretha, like that kind of level. But like, did you feel bad about stuff you thought and said in the past, and how do you reconcile all that stuff?
I mean, for me, I was just having this conversation with my boyfriend last night because he thinks, oh, they're celebrities, they have a lot of money, like, they have a $200 million cushion, to lay their head on at night. And I'm like, but they're people.
Right.
That doesn't, money doesn't help that. Money doesn't protect you from things that happen to Khloe Kardashian or, having, some sort of mental disorder. It doesn't protect you from that. And I think also it makes you more isolated. And it makes you feel like you have to hide it more. So yeah, I did feel bad. thinking back on, oh wow, Mariah went a little crazy, you know? Yeah, your fans have an expectation, your producers have an expectation, whatever label you're signed with has expectations of you. So I think being at, you know, the spot that she's at, or any celebrity really, isolates you even more. And I did feel bad for thinking, oh, Mariah went a little crazy now. When there was actually, you know, something really serious that was happening to her that happens to millions of other people.
200,000 people every year live with bipolar disorder, just in the United States alone. And you talked about the larger than life personality, the diva. Well, the grandiosity is also a symptom of bipolar. The highs and the lows, the manic, that's mania. One of the things that I always like to point out about Mariah Carey is that she has given us, well, I guess for me, because I love her so much, and she's been a part of my, when I was going through depression, because I suffer from depression as well, there was always a Mariah Carey song, a Mariah Carey album. And so finding out that she dealt with dealing with bipolar, living with bipolar disorder, really made me feel closer to her, if that sounds weird or not. So, and it wasn't that and I said it makes sense, that I'm like, I get it now. Like, it's just so weird how it puts the key in the lock.
Right, it's like, there's a certain thing where you're thinking to yourself like, all right, Mariah, I don't want to hear it because you are so damn rich and
legendary.
But then you see, like, these are useful facts when she says it wasn't a normal insomnia, and we don't have a quote for this, but I saw it in the thing. It was like, it wasn't normal insomnia, and I wasn't lying awake counting sheep. I was working and working and working. I was irritable and in constant fear of letting people down. It turns out that I was experiencing a form of mania. Eventually, I would just hit a wall. I guess my depressive episodes were characterized by having very low energy. I would feel so lonely and sad, even guilty that I wasn't doing what I needed to be doing for my career. Like, I mean, a lot of people, they aren't thinking, I'm not, you know, my career isn't putting out huge albums, but these are things that people go through on a daily basis. And you can see if you're suffering from something, maybe this is it, you know?
Well, also,
at least
think
something
about
to
how
bring up with your doctor.
Compounded by the pressure of releasing this work so swiftly and consequentially as she was doing. I think that's another thing to point out, is that not only has she experienced this immense success, but in doing that, even before her diagnosis, like how confusing that must have been, and then to compound it with the pressure of just the industry in general. I mean, we know how this works here. Like, you're in, you're out. Like, it's really ruthless. Everyone wants the next hot thing, and that would do a number on anybody. Never mind if you were, you know, struggling with a bipolar disorder.
And that work ethic is also another symptom of bipolar, is that they go and go and go and go and go. They have this automated, it's like a hamster in a wheel. You're compelled to just work and work and work because mentally you're not even killed. I want her to release new music. I want her to talk more about this. I think this is the relatability that we've always wanted from Mariah, because this may explain New Year's Eve. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, it really sounds like she's on the up and up with this, and that this, even just, you know, telling her story has just like taken off this heavy weight off of her shoulders. So, you know,
taken ownership.
Exactly. So I wish the best for her, and I think the best is yet to come.
Agreed. New album coming
Jason
soon,
hopes,
you guys.
He's like, yes.
Jason's like, please.
She's done so much. You think back on like the early days when she's like, you know, in the early 90s when she's hitting those high notes and singing like fantasy, and then how far she came. And she has like a new Christmas song that became everyone's favorite Christmas song. Do you know how hard that is to do?
That doesn't happen.
You can't invent a new Christmas song.
She's brilliant. She's a goddess. She's brilliant.
All right.
That's all I want to say about that.
We have a lot more show after this. Don't go away. When we come back, we've got some pretty saucy videos of Tristan Thompson out of 4 Seasons. We'll be back.